Today I've got this Astra, Vauxhall Astra, and I'm going to change the trailing arm bush right there on the one side. Got the new one here, customer's got his own part from Napa. All I need to do is start stripping it down. I haven't actually done one of these, so I'll work it out as I go along. First thing I've done is gone under the car and scratched a line around here with a screwdriver, so I've got some reference to where it started off. Next thing, I've got this E11 bolt here, the caliper, taking that out, and two E10s that hold these brackets so I don't have this getting stretched if I lower the axle down. I've got a feeling I might have to drop the other side as well. I'm going to start with just the one side and see if it's possible. Next thing I need to do is take the bolt out of the shocker. Top or bottom, doesn't really matter. I might do the bottom one though, so that I can see if I can lower the axle when I've got these three bolts there, there and there. I get them loose. I've also got to loosen this rusty thing as well. I'll see if it works. That was an E22 on there, and then I managed to get the spring out. The other side of the car is off the floor a little bit, so I don't know if that's what's helping, so I'm going to start on this bit. That 18mm at the back's really tight, so I've doubled it up with a spanner to give me more leverage. It's the only way I'm going to get this to turn. This side's quite corroded, so I don't know if it is 18 and E18 or if it's E20, but I'll figure that out. I'm going to see if I can crack it loose, and I'll have to hold that with something. It might even just turn that, but I'll give that a little go. That actually took a while. I'm beginning to think that should be an E18 that was just corroded. But this 18mm at the back, I had to keep tightening it on again and wire brushing it and spraying it with more WD and then working it a bit more and back into a few times. I'm that close to the fuel tank, so I didn't want to go heating it in there if I could avoid it, and eventually it went, but it did take a little while. So next, I've left it in loose because it doesn't fit out. You can't fit the bolt out. We're going to have to take the bracket off. So I'll get those three bolts that I was saying about before. I'll get them out of the way and see if this slows down. If it doesn't, I'll worry about it then. Might have to do something to the other side to make this drop even more. That doesn't look too bad. When I lowered the jack, that I obviously had that under there to take the spring out when I took the shock absorber bolt out. Now I've lowered that and it's come right down, and because all this is loose, there's nothing strained. Now this is already loosened, we can start doing the actual job now. I'll try and get this set up on a tripod for this part of the job. First I'll show you why we're actually doing it. It was advised on the MOT last year. This bit here can rotate apart from the rubber. You think it should be part of it. I might even see if I can chap that out and get it out the way. And there's a little sleeve on the end there. If I take that off, knock the silver bit out, then we'll see how we get on. And we've got to make sure we put it in the right place. If you look here, it looks like, I don't know if you can see it, looks a bit like a slice of pie shape, and that faces away from this arm. So the slice of pie is going that way, kind of like that, but on the inside. So we'll have to put it in the same place. Obviously it's like that for a reason. Okay, let's try and see if this will come out. Yeah, that's going to come out of there. We'll just take that right out. So that should be part of it, and it's not. So next, we've got to get this out. So I might try and drill this plastic. See how we get on with that. I'll go and get my drill out of the van and see if it works and bring you back. Trouble is, this drill isn't that powerful. I was going to get the Ryobi one, but I don't have it yet. But Just think if I get this rubber, I know I said plastic before, I'm going to get this rubber out of the way. Eventually it should get hold of the drill and start winding it round. It's got too much grip on it now. But this beats hammering on it, and if you've not got a compressor and stuff, starting to go. Oh, snap the drill bit. That's how much of a grip it's got. That's not a problem, we'll just get another one. I've also put a bit of WD on it now, so it might help. WD. I can't grip the drill bit now because of the WD. One sec. Okay, drilling it has made a lot of bits of rubber. I actually made it fold in on itself quite easy, but I couldn't do what I wanted. I wanted to get it so that usually it takes the drill bit and drags it round, and it didn't do that, so I started just tapping the inside edges in. Actually, I think the holes may have made it easier to crush them in, and it's quite easy drilling, so it wasn't like any hard work put into that. Then with a small chisel, I just lifted the inside edges and folded them over. Now I got a larger chisel on here, and I'll try not to hit the camera. So that can come out of there. Now I can clean this a little bit and put the new one in. Okay, I'm going to get some emery paper and give that a quick clean. It's like drying your back with a towel. I'll try and get this all done. Don't want to take too much off. I did a bush on a Vauxhall or a Renault Traffic, and when the bush came out, all the rust came out with it. A big layer of rust, and the new one almost just went in with your hands. I didn't clean that one up, but since then, I really don't want to go too far cleaning anything up, because it's supposed to be pressed in. So I'll try and get this a little bit cleaner there. Yeah, it's not really got any damage on there from the drill. It's well, the drill was on the inside of the alloy bit. It didn't go through the alloy. So here we go, just give it a quick clean. Well, you don't need to see me doing that, you get the idea. So I've cleaned it up. I've got a bearing kit here. It's actually pressing on the lip rather than there's the right tool for the job, and this will fit, but there is the actual right tool. I'm going to spray this with WD to try and help it slide in. I've got to orientate it in the right place. Remember that slice of pie looking thing, or cake if you prefer. That goes that way, like that. Kind of went away from the arm, like that. That's about right. You can't see it, it's just, I'll show you. It just goes in that way. I'm battering the phone off it. I'm filming on my phone, battering it off everything, trying to show you. So now I can put this one in. Like that. And it goes right the way through. This one will go in there as this was stuck on there from the last time, but that's okay because I can use it as a bit of a spacer. And that'll go on. Don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Maybe tilt you up a bit. So that's just got to go on and take up the space. I could maybe put 2 cups in here. Just got to get this all the way on. Time setting it up. I've got to hold the back of the thread, otherwise the thread's turning, so I'm trying to hold that as well. Yeah, there we go, getting there. Right, I can't remember what sizes they are. I'll go and find out and see if I can wind it in without damaging it. This one's a 24, but if you've got a set, it may be a different size. Let's see if this will go in. Oh, it's pulling it in really easy. You can't see it from there, but it is effortlessly just winding it in. I've not got any resistance. I did put a bit of grease inside the axle, so starting to get a bit tighter now. It is the right kit that I'd seen for doing these by Sealy, and I almost bought it, but I thought I've never been asked to do one, and I don't know if I'll get asked to do one again. That's it, it's in. So I can take this off. If it's going to work with this universal one with all the adapters, I didn't see the point in buying the right one. I don't have loads of room in my little shed at home to be doing, buying the right tool for the right car unless I absolutely have to. Like if this wasn't going to do it, I would have stopped and I would have just gone and bought the right tool. But if it's certain things like timing belts and stuff like that, yeah, I like to have the right tool for that. There we go. So that's what I used. And yeah, it's done the job. It's in there, in the right place. So now you can put this cover on. I mean the bracket. And I'll leave that bolt loose because we'll have to tighten that up when it's got in the right position. I'll sort of mention that in a little bit, but that was the easy bit. I tried drilling it. I'll put this on now so I don't forget. I got a new one in the kit, so I don't want to forget that. So yeah, not too bad to do then. I tried drilling it, and usually that works for me. In this case it didn't work too well. You can see it left a load of rubber, but usually the inner bit comes out, makes it much easier to crush the outer case of the bush. In this case it came out relatively easily, so I think all those holes I put in made it easier for the rubber to squash. So I think it helped me anyway. It wasn't a waste of time, but usually it's enough to get the whole bush out. But anyway, I think it did help rather than just chiseling, because I didn't need any special tools or air compressor chisels to do this job. It just came out without too much pushing with regular chisels and a hammer. So Yeah, I think maybe those holes that I drilled into it did help a little bit. Anyway, I'll start building it up. Now that that's in, my next job is to put the spring back in here. I'll try and put it exactly where it came off, the same way, so the end of the spring is in the same place. And yeah, it is a bit tougher to come out now that it's got a good bushing that. I haven't even tightened that up. It shouldn't really affect it, thinking about it. Shouldn't affect it because I've not tightened the bolt through it. Anyway, spring's on. Now I can lift this up and put the shock absorber bolt back in. In this case, the sleeve of the shock absorber came off as well, which isn't terrible. Let's just see if you can see that. It's a bit in the sunlight there, but it's roughly here. So, which side's that handbrake cable go on? Right there. Want it in the right place. That'll be okay like that. I loosened all this to get it out of the way, but I don't want to. I can lift this up a bit. Make sure I'm not trapping any of these ABS wires or the hose with the spring as I'm doing this. So up it comes a bit. Like I say, I've got the. You might notice my jack sounds a bit like a seagull when I'm working it. So the sleeve came off this, but I think I'll put it on anyway. It's not really doing anything. And then that'll go in there. And another thing I notice, after using the jack, the seagulls start making a lot of noise. It must be talking to them. They see it as a threat or something. So I've got these three tight with a breaker bar. I don't want the axle coming out. Now I'm just going to tighten this one up. What I'm going to do first, that's almost in, I'm going to jack it a bit more, so this, if I lift this up, it'll be in the same place it'll be when the car's on the ground, which is important. Then I can tighten this one and this big bolt that was in here. That needs tightened in the same place when the car's as if it's on the ground. See how the axle's leaning down a bit? So we'll jack it up and then tighten everything up. That's everything back together. All the bolts, these bolts here were tightened up with the suspension lifted up with a jack. So it's exactly the same as it would be if it was on the floor. So all I gotta do is put a wheel on and torque it up. Hopefully it's helpful for somebody. Thanks for watching.